Alright, welcome to the start of a new anime review series. This one's going to be interesting because this is one series, like in the case of Slayers, that's another series I'm going to do next. Well, I'm going to go back to it after I finish this one. But just for the first half of its second season, which is known as Slayers Next. So, this one is not available, the thing is, when I read about this particular one, before I name it, it was licensed by Senta Filmworks. It was at the stream on Crunchyroll. And I look on High Dive. Not there. I look on Crunchyroll. Not there. Apparently it was Amazon Prime. Not there. You might be thinking, where can you find this series? You actually can find it on YouTube, believe it or not. Yes, except they pretty much took out the opening and closing title sequences. And the version I'm watching, they pretty much edited all 12. Basically, whoever did this basically took all 12 episodes and just took out all the opening and closing title sequences for this whole series and just stitched it all together to a 4.5 hour video. I'm not going to say where you can find YouTube, just you can type it pretty easily. And this series is called Maoyu. Now, why isn't it available in some of these other places? Because apparently the license expired for this one, and Crunchyroll chose not to renew it, and neither did Hulu or even not Paramount, even Amazon Prime. It's like they just chose not to renew the license for some reason. If you're curious, how long did this series come out? It came out in 2013. So a series that came out 13 years ago is not available on any streaming service. Yeah, also, there is no English dub. You're like, really? That's interesting. You would think. See, this probably would be a series that either Crunchyroll or maybe Senta Filmworks would do a dub for. Nope, no dub. Do not know the reason for it. I don't know what the explanation is of why there's no dub. There just is no dub. It just aired no problem. And apparently, now this is done from a light novel series, which only had, get this, 5 volumes released, plus 3 prequel books. Yes. I found that to be interesting. And each book has got 6 chapters, I think it is, 6, 7 chapters. Yeah, and I've read fan translations of these books, and there's no table of contents. Now, if you're curious, what has been released here for the series? Besides him, I think the manga is released here. But aside from that, it's also known as Arch Enemy and Hero. It's kind of interesting. Also, I should point out though, none of these characters have actual freaking names. Sounds a little like Goblin Slayer. These people are just referred to as just titles. They never have actual names. So, apparently we have a hero who's going out the Demon King, and he breaks into the castle, which, wow, big, huge castle, no soldiers, nothing. And then meets the Demon King. And when the Demon King turns around, he turns out to be a drop-dead gorgeous. I'm like, oh my gosh. Also, at one point, she claimed she was chubby. I'm looking what are you talking about? You're gorgeous. Yeah, and apparently she is, it's implied that she wants a hero, and of course by the way, the tagline for this series is, the first title episode is, Be Mine, Hero. It's kind of interesting, the title of the first episode. It's also the title of the very first light novel, You Will Be Mine, Hero. You will be mine. And the hero says, I refuse. Yeah, by the way, this whole first couple minutes is from the opening pages of the light novel. Also, I should point out, if you get a chance to read these light novels, it's like reading a script where we have a title of a character, stuff they say, and it's like this for all the books I've read so far. It doesn't read like a normal light novel. It just has people talking. So, yeah, and also she has an obsession with him. You're they cut the bit out here where he basically yells, "Where are you, Demon King?" Despite the fact this is the actual in front of him, and shows the fact that she is Demon King by her crest. That she has a cherubim of her breast in front of him in order to show this tattoo between her chest. Between her breasts that she has. And at first, basically, she's like so obsessed with him. Like, it's implied that she's got a thing for him. The thing is, they just freaking met. You're probably thinking, how the heck does she have a thing for him? Well, it's shown later on the reason for it. So, they mention, you burned out a forest. Pollution. Now, the thing they have in the light novel is, it's implied the fact that the hero himself was isekai'd. In the anime, there's no mention at all. Yeah, I thought that was kind of weird. They cut that bit out because it seemed like though he was transported from the real world into this one. Now, this is the same story that I read in the light novels. Don't worry about that because it's progressing pretty much very similar. So, and then pretty much the whole first episode is just exposition. Yeah, it's exposition. Where, like, she wants to touch him. She eventually does. And mentions about the whole thing about the war between the humans and demons is basically for one central state. The central nations, like, basically for money. And apparently, if wars continue, if there's no war, then people will starve. And there's kind of a reason for that, because they explain in a later episode about wheat. I'll get to that. So, they basically chat for it. Like, the whole first episode, these two just talking to each other. There's even like a lantern that they pick up, show like a memory of his. And there's another time when she touches the thing just barely, and we see her where apparently she is obsessed with the hero. Yes, where she made, get this, a body pillow of the hero where she was practicing makeout sessions with the damn thing. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, first of which, how the heck did she know what the hero even looked like? They don't have pictures this world. But yet they have like a lantern that looks like one of these like 3D projection type of things. And the way she talks, it's like, she kind of talks someone in the real world. Like, did somebody basically... And also it's revealed the horns she has are not actual horns. They're part of some headband. And... yeah, apparently she refers herself as the 43rd Demon King. Just a title. There's no technically no Demon Queen, just Demon King, even if it's a woman. Yeah. So, and thanks to the conversation, of course, he basically does agree to have her touch him. And say that, I am yours, and like, the whole thing of like the wedding stuff, and it's like a sealed contract. And they work together. They just also, and they agreed to work together to end the war. They do go, the thing is, they go to a remote village, because if they go to a flourishing nation, no one will listen to them. And then they arrive in this village, and they do show the whole thing with the fields, where apparently the fields here are... that they after a while, after playing the same crop over and over again, the soil does not get refreshed per se. So her method is simply this: show these 4 fields. Have field 1 and field 4 filled with like the wheat, and field 2 and 3 filled with clovers. So the pigs, we have pigs, basically livestock, feed and eat the stuff, so they can replenish the ground with their waste. So things that method, and after 3 months it actually works, believe it or not, this particular method. And shows the fact, because she is a Demon King, and because basically she's high authority, of course basically she says is big, huge frickin' mansion. They do explain this mansion was abandoned by some noble. Which noble? Don't know. And when they get there, they're meted by a woman only identified as the head maid. No name for her, just the head maid, who apparently grew up with basically the Demon King, which of course they refer to by another name. They refer to as Scholar in the episode, which in the book they refer to as Crimson Scholar. Yes, so And of course, they gonna meet the village elder, which he's very stubborn. And then she's gonna be educating people about what all her stuff she plans to. And during this, like, they have this night where, like, you have the hero sitting on the floor, and she's sitting on. They're sitting in front of a fireplace, and she's sitting on a couch, and she wants the hero to sit on the couch, and then he's open to sit on her lap. Also, they joke about her arms being flabby. They're not. And she's like, "Oh, your hair is so soft," and he's like, "Your thighs are very soft. Like, they're not too fat." Like, yes, she thinks she's chubby. And I'm looking at this woman, I'm like, you are not chubby, woman. You are in great shape. You are physically fit. She's basically over-exaggerating herself probably because basically she's got a big rack. Because she's got big chest. Probably the reason why she thinks she's chubby. So, and then at one point they're about to make out. They also have this other story here with these two sisters where these stupid guys burned down their house with their other siblings in it for simply having supposedly demon sickness in it. And then she and her younger sister flee, and they end up basically in the barn of this house, and apparently, like, these elders, and of course having all their escapes, like, no, they're seraphs. The way they explain it is that they're people who do get paid, but they can't leave anywhere, which this is kind of true anyways. So, basically, she orders these to be bathed and get the proper clothing. And after some negotiation with the head maid, these two are allowed to stay as maids. Because after all, this is a huge mansion, and the head maid can't clean the whole thing by herself, so why not? Also, she refers to the king as, "Oh, my king, my king, my king," and she probably has to go a different alias from people who call herself Scholar. So, and then the hero just referred to as hero. There's also this weird subplot, one part where you have this looks like a night where she's looking for the hero who disappeared, and the old man with her think basically is like, "Oh, tell the truth that basically her chest is too small." Yes, seriously. And don't worry, this one will come back. Yeah. Oh, by the way, the name of the second episode is Please Make Us Human. Which, that's a line said in the episode. Yes, seriously. So, and of course you have the younger sister, which they don't identify these two girls at all. So I'm just going to call her the younger sister, where she meets the hero who killed the boar. Yes, a big boar. Of course, he feeds some bread. And then, of course, she goes off to meet with the village. They have this class where you have the older sister, what appears to be some noble, but not snotty per se. Yes, he's not one of these stuck-up nobles who basically think they're better than everybody else because they're rich. There's a military guy and some other guy here, and they do explain about this crusade about limiting. Now, it's something though that the demon. Now, they none of them know this. They're actually talking to the demon. None of these four people know the fact of Demon King. So, it is something. This woman said to keep her composure long enough to not break her utensils, her writing stuff. There was a joke. There's a couple of things like this one keeps standing to speak. So, she proceeds like first smack him on the head and then throws a book at him, which I thought was kind of funny. And explains this Crusade of the Holy Key, which is this group which from various nations to go conquer a few cities, but they couldn't conquer the capital. It is, like I said, something to effectively keep her composure. And then the episode ends with her going out to teach the village elder's son, which should be interesting to say the least. And that's pretty much it for the first two episodes. You probably think like, wow, not much has happened. Well, the plot is progressing at a pretty okay pace. It's not like a Pocket Bringer where it just feels like when I watch that show, I keep bringing this up when it comes to one of these anime, where some people think, oh, this is slow pacing. The pacing in that show was dreadful. It felt like you had to get to episode 5 to progress one step forward in the story. And by the second half, it got much better pace. This pacing is okay, but I am not going to blame, basically... I'm not going to blame the anime for it. They're just adapting the book. That's all they're doing. So I blame the book for this. And by the way, the 3 books I read are over 400 pages. And these pages are covered in these episodes. You're like, what? Yeah, seriously. And the way these books are structured, it's perfect for 12 episodes. Given the fact that, what happens? Chatting. So, you can't say the anime ignores some of the books. I don't know how people feel about this anime per se, so the thing is, this anime came out roughly a few years before I even started watching anime, started reviewing anime, so there's that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Took a video. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications. Well, I'm going to try to get done more episodes of this today. How much I get more done today? I don't know. I'll find out soon, okay? Yeah, bye.